Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your Spring 2016 Georgia Tech graduates. Students, please rise for the faculty processional.
Good morning and welcome. Please rise and remain standing for the presentation of the colors and the national anthem, which will be sung by members of Sympathetic Vibrations.
Oh, say, can you see by by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Well, good morning and welcome. This morning, the colors were presented by members of the Georgia Tech ROTC. In addition to our students who are preparing for military service, I'd like for us to take a moment to recognize all the veterans and active service members in the audience. If you have served or are currently serving in any branch of the U.S. military, please rise and let us recognize your service. Thank you. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Steven Spiegel, a candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering, who will give the reflection. Mr. Spiegel?
I want to start off by thanking the parents and the families. We could not have done this without you. But I do want to say that you all will never understand the extent of the hard work and the sacrifice that it took for each one of us students to be here this morning. You just don't appreciate how hard it is for us to wake up so early on a Saturday. But we did it anyways. Each of us faced unique challenges. Some left their home countries and faced language barriers. Some struggled to keep up with the demanding curriculum. Some of us couldn't find our gowns this morning. My challenge was that at the end of high school, I wasn't exactly on track for college. I was afraid that it was too late. I applied for fall admission to Florida State, and they rejected me. They replied, "How about you take a few summer classes, and if you do well, then you'll be admitted." I figured I had to at least try. I earned straight A's. After about a year of remedial courses, I built up the courage to attempt to major in engineering. I didn't think I could handle the math, but I had to at least try. That summer, I took trigonometry for the first time. I dropped my other 3 classes because it was so hard. I earned an A. After 5 years and 14 semesters across 2 universities, I am proud to say that I will be graduating with highest honors from the #1 school in the nation for industrial engineering. I'm also proud to say that I still own the same iPhone. Many of you are equally proud of where you stand today, or if you're like me at the end of high school, afraid that you're not on track to be where you want to be, and also have a funny haircut. In either case, realize that it's not too late to dream big. It doesn't matter what it would be like if you had done things differently, or what it would be like for someone else. You can get a new haircut. And I did. If you want something, you must do whatever it takes for you to accomplish that. That is what each of us have done to get here today, and that is what we will continue to do. Because to graduate from Georgia Tech is not just the end of a long uphill journey, and by that I mean the climb to the top of Freshman Hill, but the beginning of a new one. Regardless how crazy your next aspiration is, whether you want to be an astronaut or the next Jimmy Carter, whether you want to save the environment or feed the hungry, or whether you want to give a commencement speech. As we all know, you only live once, so you have to at least try. Congratulations and best of luck to all of you.
Thank you, Stephen, and best of luck.
Thank you.
You know, there are a lot of things that go on behind the scenes at a ceremony like this. Stephen did not tell his parents he was going to do that, so that's a surprise to them. Congratulations. Graduates, members of the faculty and staff, distinguished guests, families, and friends, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the 251st commencement exercises here at the Georgia Institute of Technology. In the two undergraduate ceremonies today, we will be awarding over 2,000 degrees, in addition to the 1,000 graduate degrees we awarded last evening. In addition, as is the case for this institute, each of you has had someone that assisted you, because success in life is seldom a one-person effort. As we celebrate the successful conclusion of one chapter of your lifelong education, it's important to acknowledge that you have not done it alone. With us today are members of your families, your friends, and colleagues whose love and support have helped you make this day possible. For some parents today, this is not your first Georgia Tech graduation ceremony. If you're the parent of more than one proud Georgia Tech graduate through the years, or if you're a Georgia Tech alumni, please stand, wave, and be recognized. In addition, with us today are members of the faculty who have guided and mentored these students, sharing with them their time, their wisdom, and their expertise in order to help each and every one of them reach his or her fullest potential. They have achieved an important milestone. Through the help of the faculty and the staff here at Georgia Tech, they have made their journey complete to this point. Would the members of the faculty please rise and be recognized? Thank you. Well, I could tell you how much the graduates appreciate all of the effort of all of the people that have supported them through their degrees to this point. I think it means more coming from them.
Hi, Mom and Dad. I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the love and support you've given me over the past 4 years. I wouldn't be here without it. And to my little brother, I can't wait to see you become a Yellow Jacket in a few years.
I'd like to give a huge shout out to my RHA friends for supporting me through all the events that we've put on during all these 4 years, and a shout out to Dr. Seitzman in the aerospace department for educating me and inspiring me.
Go Georgia Tech, and I love you EAS department. You guys are the best.
I'm a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech and a hell of an engineer.
Thanks, Mom, Dad,
Saida and Auntie Bev for your love and support. Congratulations, class of 2016. We made it.
Hey guys, just like to give a shout out to my friends and family for keeping me motivated through those rough 19 and 20 credit hour semesters. Congrats to all the grads and go Jackets.
I just want to thank Georgia Tech for giving me an opportunity to be great. This is what it's all about. I came to this school for the challenge, and I was able to accomplish this. So I'm super excited, and go Jackets.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. Go Jackets! Woo!
At this time, I'd like to introduce several members of the stage party, and will ask that you hold your applause as they stand when I call their names. Dr. Colin Potts, Vice Provost for Undergraduate Education and our Mace Bearer. Good, good. Dr. Susan Cousins, Vice Provost, Graduate Education and Faculty Development. Dr. Stephen Cross, Executive Vice President for Research. Mr. Barrett Carson, Vice President for Development. Dr. Archie Irvin, Vice President for Institute Diversity. Mr. John Stein, Vice President of Student Life and Dean of Students. Mr. John Tone, Associate Dean of the Ivan Allen College of Liberal Arts. Ms. Catherine Murray Russ, Dean of Libraries and Vice Provost for Academic Effectiveness. Dr. Roberta Berry, representing the Georgia Tech Honors Program. Dr. Michelle Toulier, representing the Center for Career Discovery and Development. And Ms. Rita Pikowski, Registrar. Thank you for being with us today. This is a momentous day for you as graduates and for your family and friends who are sharing in the celebration of your accomplishments. You've worked very hard to earn your degree from one of the best institutions in the nation, and in many areas, one of the best in the world. Georgia Tech faculty are engaged in research collaborations in more than 100 countries. The Institute has global centers in several countries, including our campus in Lorraine, France, which will celebrate its 25th anniversary this spring. Over 5,800 students have spent a semester or more at the Georgia Tech Lorraine campus. Our Georgia Tech students study and intern in more than 70 countries around the world, and over 52% of them have a meaningful international experience before they complete their undergraduate studies. At Georgia Tech, we pride ourselves on being trailblazers who drive real-world challenges by embracing change, thinking critically, and developing innovative solutions to some of the most pressing problems facing our society and the world today. We continue to work towards our goal of making Georgia Tech and an education here within the reach of every qualified Georgia resident, regardless of their family income. We're proud to say that among the graduates today are 16 G. Wayne Clough Georgia Tech Promise Program scholars. Because of the Tech Promise Program, qualified Georgia residents with the greatest financial needs are able to earn a Georgia Tech education and graduate debt-free. Through their hard work and Georgia Tech's commitment, not only will their lives be changed, but the lives of their families for generations to come. To the rest of you, your Georgia Tech education is designed to prepare you to work collaboratively, to identify challenges and create solutions, and to be leaders in business, in industry, and government, and in the communities where you will live and work. Georgia Tech is in the business of creating the next idea, the next technology, and the next innovators and entrepreneurs. We're empowering the next generation of scientists, engineers, businessmen and women, architects, and so many others, engendering in them the passion and the skills that they will need to design our future. You, as graduates, will be forever linked to this great institution, and we're looking for great things from each and every one of you. At this point, I'd like to invite Dr. Raphael Bross, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, and our commencement speaker, Ms. Mary Rocket Brock, and her husband, John Brock, to join me at the podium. In just a minute, we look forward to awarding Mary and John honorary Georgia Tech degrees, after which Mary will deliver our commencement address. But before we do that, I wanted to recognize them for their tremendous leadership and the leadership that they provided for our capital campaign. This is the most successful fundraising campaign in Georgia Tech history. Campaign Georgia Tech ended on December 31st of this past year. Our goal was to raise $1.5 billion. With Mary and John leading the way, we raised $1,812,429,271 and realized every campaign goal. We traveled around the country and, in fact, around the world talking about Georgia Tech to the faithful alum, and they came through for us. Mr. John Brock is Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Coca-Cola Enterprises. He and Mary have been incredibly generous with their time, expertise, and their resources, not only to Georgia Tech, but also through numerous philanthropic endeavors throughout Atlanta. Mary is an official honorary Georgia Tech alumna, and John received his undergraduate and master's degrees from Georgia Tech in chemical engineering. Today, we are about to award the most significant honor a university can bestow on an individual. At Georgia Tech, we hold these degrees dear. Honorary degree holders include President Jimmy Carter, Atlanta Mayor Ivan Allen Jr., astronaut John Young, U.S. Labor Secretary and Senator Elizabeth Dole, and Senator Sam Nunn. Today, the Georgia Institute of Technology will confer its 34th and 35th honorary Doctor of Philosophy degrees in the Institute's 130-year history upon John F. Brock III and Mary Rocket Brock. First, Mr. Brock. The honorary degree certificate reads, "To all to whom these presents may come, greeting. Whereas John F. Brock III has built upon the foundation of his chemical engineering education to provide exceptional strategic leadership in the international beverage sales industry, has enriched the lives of his community and beyond through civic leadership and service, and along with his wife Mary and the support of their family, has tirelessly served his alma mater through volunteer leadership, inspiring tens of thousands to support the Institute, as well as providing their own transformative philanthropy, profoundly affecting Georgia Tech now and forever. Now, therefore, we do hereby confer the degree of Honorary Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and honors thereunto appertaining. In witness whereof, the signatures of the Chancellor of the University System of Georgia and the President and the Registrar of the Georgia Institute of Technology are hereto subscribed, and the seal of the Institute is affixed. Given this day in Atlanta on the 7th of May, 2016. Congratulations, John Brock. The honorary degree citation for Mary reads, "To all to whom these presents may come, greetings. Whereas Mary Rocket Brock has served as a pioneer in and an advocate of women's professional sports, has made a lasting impact on her community, state, and nation as a renowned civic and philanthropic leader, and along with her husband John and the support of their family has provided extraordinary volunteer leadership and service to Georgia Tech, inspiring tens of thousands to support the Institute, as well as providing their own transformative philanthropy, profoundly affecting Georgia Tech now and forever. Now, therefore, we do hereby confer the degree of Honorary Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and honors thereunto appertaining. In witness whereof, the signatures of the Chancellor of the University System of Georgia and the President and Registrar of the Georgia Institute of Technology are hereto subscribed, and the seal of the Institute is affixed. Given in Atlanta on the 7th day of May, 2016. Congratulations, Mary. I'm pleased at this point to introduce Ms. Mary Brock, co-owner of the Atlanta Dream NBA franchise, as our commencement speaker. Her Atlanta Dream won Eastern Conference championships in 2010, 11, and 13. Started out as an expansion team, and the Dream has reached the WNBA Finals for 3 years of their first 8 seasons. Mary has a BS Education, summa cum laude, and an MS in Educational Curriculum Development from Miami of Ohio. She serves on the Board of Trustees of Spelman College, the Boards of Directors of the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra and Metro Atlanta Chamber, the Board of Advisors for the Winship Cancer Institute, and the Hugh Spalding Community Board. For many years, she served on the National Board of Directors of Horizons National, a program for underserved youth that focuses on the summer learning achievement gap. Mary and her husband, John F. Brock III, have funded chairs dedicated to cancer research at Georgia Tech and Emory University. They provided the major funding for the John and Mary Brock football practice facility here at Georgia Tech. And Mary endowed a scholarship for women's basketball at Georgia Tech. Mary and John have lived in Atlanta for 9 years and have 3 adult children and 5 grandchildren, many of whom are with us here today. Please join me in welcoming Mary Rocket Brock as our commencement speaker.
Thank you, President Peterson. Welcome. And congratulations, class of 2016. In just a few minutes, you're going to be graduates of the Georgia Institute of Technology, as we've heard and as you believe, one of the premier educational institutes internationally. Seriously, across the world, people are going to know for the rest of your lives that you are a Georgia Tech graduate. When I think of my early days on the Tech campus, though, I really felt that Georgia Tech promoted a community of inclusiveness, a community of the power of possibility. What is the power of possibility? That's something that I'm going to talk a little bit about today, because I feel like that's what Georgia Tech instilled in my husband, John, and me, and I think it's instilled it in you. You will have a degree that shows, as you heard from Stephen, where you worked very hard. You're not afraid of hard work. You know how to approach ideas with rigor and intensity. That's what it takes to graduate from Georgia Tech. And you embrace and are ready to go out in the world. You embrace this power of possibility. So let's hold on to that concept just a minute, this power of possibility, and talk about right now, this moment in time, all of you sitting there with your friends, your fellow graduates, your faculty, your family and loved ones. You are celebrating all the hard work that all of you know about and that Stephen also mentioned that has gone into your Georgia Tech degree. There have been high moments and there have been challenging moments. And some of the victories have been very sweet, like the miracle on Techwood last October when Georgia Tech blocked a field goal. Someone picked it up, that very special someone, and ran the length of the field in the final minutes of the game, and John and I were there watching and waiting, to score a touchdown and beat the Florida State University. And if we didn't celebrate things like that, you know, I think we would put a Georgia Tech degree into one category. A Georgia Tech degree is so much more than all the hard work, all the things that you have to look forward in the future, and all the things that you did to accomplish it. At this moment, though, you're going to enter the world that has a lot of unpredictability and a lot of challenge. We're in the middle of a crazy presidential contest, a lot of fervor. You know, we're all thinking, where are we going with that? It's very unsettling. You're entering a future where sharing a meal with a friend in a cafe or taking a flight somewhere is tinged with uncertainty and a lurking shadow of worry. That's tough, but it's reality, and I think we have to just look at it that way. And in this moment, there are some out there who doubt your generation. You know that you're considered, and you are, in the generation of millennials. But do you really feel like Georgia Tech graduates are the typical millennials where you think you're entitled, you don't have to work hard, that someone's going to give something to you for nothing? I really don't think that's the Georgia Tech. Lazy, another descriptor of millennials, those words don't even go in the same sentence, lazy and Georgia Tech. Would all of you agree with me? So indulge me for just a minute and let me tell you about my moment in time. You heard a little bit about John and me. I came on this campus in 1969. Yes, that's a long time ago, as a young married couple. And we felt this community of Georgia Tech. We felt like on that day when John graduated in chemical engineering and we were entering a world, like you're entering a world, that we were nervous. We knew we had the Georgia Tech community experience behind us. We knew our families cared about us. But the people who believed in us most were us. I don't know if we really knew what we were doing, but we really felt like we had what it took. And complexity is very relative, and I'm sure you hear from a lot of people that their moment in time and way back when it was a simpler time, but I really don't think so. I think there's complexity at all moments in time. We were going into a world that was very divided by the Vietnam War. We were from a very small town in Moss Point, Mississippi, right on the Gulf Coast. We grew up in small town America. John and I still believe that that shaped a lot of our values today. We grew up in a family that stressed values. And I think that's what you've got in your Georgia Tech family, is look at those values that were stressed. Let's talk a little bit about labels. I mentioned the millennials, and we have agreed, I think, that you are not the typical millennials, but because I don't believe in labels. I believe in their power to do harm, and you've got to reject them. If I had believed in the labels that were thrust upon a young woman like I was in my early 20s in 1970 when John graduated, I don't think I would have gone on and finished my undergraduate and graduate degrees, as Dr. Peterson said, at Miami University. I don't believe I would have become the educator, the mother, the community leader, and the business person that I am today. I think a lot of that has to do with your confidence and the way you feel that you were impacted by where you were at a moment in time. And if anyone who calls you millennials don't stand for it, look at the good things about millennials. You're connected, the environment is flat, you're technological, you're collaborative, you're entrepreneurial. Those are the kinds of qualities as millennials that Georgia Tech has left you with. And you chart your own destiny. No one charts it for you. You're here to grab onto an opportunity and say, I can do it, that I'm confident, that I've got this Georgia Tech degree behind me, and I'm going to really value this community. So let's look at this power of possibility that I've talked about at another moment in time. As you sit here, and I feel a really palpable feeling, you feel that you are ready to go out and join that world as a Georgia Tech graduate. You have the leadership skills, and you can do it. Tech students not only succeed once they graduate, they succeed even while they're here at Georgia Tech. I'm sure many of you are very familiar with the Inventure competition, hackathons on campus, and it's kind of amazing to us. And as we went through Campaign Georgia Tech, we heard so many stories, but there are students and student teams who did things like create a toilet that's good for any culture in the world, that can be shipped very efficiently and effectively. That's changing the world already, and that was done by a Georgia Tech team in school at Georgia Tech. There is a technology in Pakistan where young women can be paired with trusted taxi drivers. These are young women who are afraid to go out and get jobs, but this Georgia Tech technology that resulted from a hackathon on your campus made that possible. I could go on and on. There are just endless ones. I know throughout the campaign, Dr. Peterson talked many times about, while we didn't have a really great football season, we discovered water on Mars. That really helps. And it's really true. You all know that we have a statue of Einstein on campus, and a group of Georgia Tech students and faculty helped prove a lot of Einstein theories. And some of you, with a little bit of your quirk of humor, put a sign on that statue that said, "I told you so." We're Georgia Tech. We get it. And that's what I love about your generation. You're really ready to go out there and conquer the world in your own way. Okay, let's talk about the power of possibility and how it affected me and my life. My interests have been, if you've read or know anything about me, are education, at-risk children, and empowering young women. Early on, my years as an educator showed me that a combination of nurturing and structure really had a good impact on a young mind. And I hope that carried over as a mother. I have all three of my children here. I like to think they believe that. And I hope it's carrying over to my grandchildren. I have 3 grandchildren here today who I'd love to recognize. John Franklin Brock V, Quinn, you can stand, Everett Mary, and Lily Annis Dixon. And I even have a great niece named after me, Mary Elizabeth. So I think that their parents would say, and maybe some of you get grandparents in the audience and parents too would say, that when you get to that stage in your life, you're a little more about fun than structure. But hopefully it's working. Anyway, welcome to that group. Let's look at reacting to circumstances. Because as you go through life, you can't predict all the things that are going to happen to you. You're going to have to be ready to take that fork in the road and think where that fork is going to take you and how it will take you to the next decision. I never would have expected, even 10 or 15 years ago, that at this point in my life, in my late 50s, entering my 6th decade, that I would be the owner of a WNBA team, the Atlanta Dream. And before I say why that happened, let me tell you a little bit about role models and mentors. I'm sure you hear about that all the time. You're all looking for them, you all want them. Well, my role model and my mentor is my mother, who is also here. And I want to tell you that she was a person who raised 6 children. I'm the oldest. And she was active in our community, a real leader, very successful. But at age 50, because of different circumstances that she had, she decided to enter the workforce. Yes, at age 50. So she entered the workforce in sales. Her first year, she was Rookie of the Year, competing against young people like all of you. She was hired away by the competitive company in our community down in Moss Point, Mississippi, moved to another state to run a similar sales business in that area. I'm so proud of you. Thanks, Mom. When I told her about the dream opportunity, she said, "Why not?" Anyway, welcome to her here today as well. Regarding the Atlanta Dream, I see the great power of possibility that exists in young women. There are opportunities for them to be role models. They're all college graduates. If you're a young woman in today's world, there's actually a professional league to which you can aspire. And the impact of sports on young women is profound. The outcomes are so tested and believable. If you participate in sports at any time in your life, whether you're young or into high school or college, but it can be any time in your life, you're impacted. There are lower teen pregnancies, more likelihood of graduating from college, more likelihood of having good jobs in your 30s. It impacts you for the rest of your life. So I really believe in that. But one thing I stress, and my co-owner, Kelly Loeffler, is right there with me, is that we operate the dream as a business. If we didn't operate it as a business, it wouldn't be sustainable. It is not our philanthropy. It's something that we want to make successful financially, so in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, the Atlanta Dream and the WNBA is still here. So that's something that, I think is important, and I think I'm really lucky to have that opportunity at this time in my life. You'll find out as you go through your lives, different things happen, circumstances change, and you're going to have to make decisions based on what's happening to you at a different point in time. There will be countless times, as I mentioned earlier, where you'll have that fork in the road, and you need to think, what's the power of possibility that would lead me down that road, or what's the power of possibility that would lead me down another one, and then where will that lead? If you look at your boss and you don't like what he or she is doing, then you're probably in the wrong place. You should probably make a change. Most recently, as you heard earlier, my husband and I have been leading Campaign Georgia Tech. So talk about the power of possibility. You heard the numbers, they're profound. We not only reached the dollar number, but all of the things that went into that. We had 100 chairs endowed. In fact, we had 104 over our goal. Scholarships, fellowships. If you look around this campus today and we compare how it is to when we were here 50 years ago, it is unbelievable. And when you're here in 5, 10, 15 years, it will still be different, and a lot of that will be because of you. But what about your impact on this campaign? Unbelievable. The Georgia Tech Student Alumni Association is, and you may not know this, the largest and most successful in the country. There are over 5,000 members. It's the biggest campus organization out there, and the endowment is over $1 million. So you are already ready to give away opportunities to others on the campus because of what you're doing. And when we say this was a campaign of the many, not the few, a lot of that goes into what you did for us. We had gifts that ranged from $5 to $50 million. But believe me, we would not have reached our goal if we hadn't had the $5, $10, and $15 gifts from students. And that's pretty profound. What we learned as we went across, as Dr. Peterson said, the U.S. and the world, there are Georgia Tech graduates out there who really feel passionately about what happened to them when they were in school here. Now, one thing I'll tell you is they look at the graduates today, they look at the entering freshman classes, and some of them say, would I have gotten into Georgia Tech today? And maybe you'll be saying that. Maybe they'll keep getting better and better. But what you can do is say, I will have this degree with me for the rest of my life, and I want to make something of it. So as you embark on this journey, think about what we learned time and time again about a Georgia Tech degree. It has taught you how to grab that power of possibility. It's taught you how to choose to make a difference. Now, we named all of these big things that Georgia Tech graduates do. What's really going to matter are the hundreds and hundreds of little things that you do in your communities, in your families, and in your job. Choose to make a difference. You have to combine this experience with Georgia Tech and what you can do to make a difference in your life. Where will the community of Georgia Tech take you? What do you think you're going to do, like these others who have gone before you? Today, when John and I received our honorary degrees, we did it with a great sense of humility. We feel really lucky to have had our Georgia Tech experience. We feel lucky to have headed Campaign Georgia Tech, and we know that as two kids from Mississippi who didn't start out with very much, when we were sitting in your chairs, we didn't really think that this was going to be the path that we took. So you have no idea what the world has to offer you, but be ready for it and be ready to take it and go with it. I look out today and I see all of you so engaged, so confident. You're young adults ready to go out in the world. And I feel like it's the time when preparation is going to meet purpose. You're prepared. What is the purpose? So be ready for that. If I leave you with one thing, it's to choose to make a difference. Choose to be brilliant. You are brilliant. Choose to go out there and see what your power of possibility is. Choose to be the best Georgia Tech graduate and the carrier of what's good about Georgia Tech forward. Because Georgia Tech has prepared you so well, you need to do your part. Thank you so much. Good luck, Godspeed, and go Jackets!
Thank you, Mary. Thanks to you and John for everything you have done and continue to do for Georgia Tech. So what's next? Now we come to the time that all of you have been waiting for, the conferring of your degrees. The moment of walking across the stage represents the culmination of a great deal of work and achievement for each of our graduates. I'd ask that after you receive your degree, you return to your seat and show your fellow students the same respect they've given you as you cross the stage. At this time, I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Raphael Bras back to the podium, who will introduce the academic deans by college and then present the candidates for the bachelor's degree.
Good morning. Good morning. Moment has come. Dean Zvi Galil will present the undergraduate candidates for the degrees in the College of Computing.
Candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in the College of Computing, please rise and remain standing. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you those sleepless candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree, including the hacks, the nerds, and the geeks. Two of them didn't wake up today, who have completed the requirement for this degree.
From the College of Computing, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Shyamak Agarwal. Alicia Amin Ali. Kentaro Ono Allen. Sarah Nicole Alsmiller. Andrew Seth Amontree. Clayton Miles Anderson. Sikrishna Arkot. Michael Thomas Avery. Afik Zulfaiz Azabi. Renee Elizabeth Buck. Matthew Jean Barulik. David C. Benas. Matthew James Behrman. Curl Vance Berry Jr. Shakil Ali Bamani. Prashant Bandari. Suvrat Bhushan. Jason Maxwell Byers. Kurt Mandel Bonnats Jr. Nathan Christopher Braswell. Hunter Anthony Brennick. Corey Alexander Brisky. Justin Robert Buchanan. Ryan Jeffrey Burns. Brian Davis Can. Bin Kao. Michael Howard Carlson. Daniel Aves Carnova. Jesus Carrillo. Keith Patrick Kavanaugh. William Mitchener Seeley. Naveen Krishna Chandran. Moon Jan Chang. Catherine Diane Chapman. Brandon Chastain. Janveed Chavla. Christopher John Cheap. Daniel X. Chen. Wenling Chen. Yan Chen. Ichi Chen. Guyong Chung. Alexander Francis Signorella. Kevin Grady Curtin. Nico Saldojeno de Leon. Taufik Danani, Stephen James Dolan, Brian Dong, Susanna Dong, Michael Robert Dunn, Shari Ebanks, Casey Allen Evanish, Timothy Reese Farley, Luca Farsi, Andrew Fraser Ford, Prachni Foulé, Victor Manuel Garcia, Bavia Garg, Utkarsh Garg, Mark Joseph Jabali, Ishan Grover, William C. Gu, Andrew McQuinney Halasi, Saleh Akram Hamadai, Kevin Hawn, Nikhil Purushottam Harithas, Brian Hassan Krakauer, Dean Muttadin Hassan, Yusuf Hossam Hossain, Richard Michael Hernandez, Gustavo Andres Hidalgo, Ming Ming Hu, Wenxi Hu, Raymond Hua, Sarah Elizabeth Hughes, Jonathan Trevor Hunsucker, Jonathan Taylor Hunter, Alexander Tyler Huynh, Isaac Huang, Jonathan Victor Jemson, Roxanne Kushru Jingina, Shamir Abdulrusul Jiwani, Dylan Chapman Jones, Abraham Yongku Kang, Samantha Lana Kasim, David Jonathan Keats, Martin Joseph Kendrick, Derek Robert Kaiser, Farhan Iqbal Khan, Jun Kyung Kim, Taekyu Kim, Taeho Ko, Justin Namquan Lee, Alexander Dustin Levitt, Hyun Suk Lee, Yuna Lee, Melissa Mellon Lee, Menghan Lee, Richard Lu V, Ziwan Lin, Chan Lu, Joshua Mark Coley Long, Keegan Bryce Long, Nathan Pierce Lowell, Michael Liu, Wayne Liu, Brett Thomas Lyle, Tyler James McGrogan, Nicholas Jordan Matthews, Michael J. Maurer, Brenton Patrick McCorvey, Craig Robert McGowan, Brendan Dennis McGarry, Emilio Noel Mendoza, Molly Kathleen Merritt, Aditya Mittal, James Allen Moak III, Jared Arthur Moore, Amir F. Naji, Dhruv Nayar, Keegan McCarthy Nesbitt, Benjamin Cole Newcomer, Vaughn Claire Nickerson, Harrison Adeboye Obeyrai, Andrew Michael Osborne, Michael Louis Ozerzansky, Natasha De Parak, Paul Woon-hyung Park, Amol Praful Patel, Dhiraj Patel. Yanji Mayur Patel. Jay Hirakrishna Patel. Shiv S. Patel. Sterling Lewis Pete. Omari J. Pemberton. Clayton Lee Pierce. Tane Ponche. Nikolai Popescu. Thomas Spencer Powell. Jason John Provenzano. Julia Barry Rappaport. Zain Mustafa Remani. Darian Jamal Richmond. Bryce Randall Rising. Emily Christine Ritter. Dale Richard Rivera. Jack Carlton Roberts III. Susan Marie Roberts. Nikita Sagar. Avdeep Singh Sahi. Awantika Sahu. Hifna Zianab Saki. Francisco Manuel Sanchez. Brent Lewis Satterwhite. Matthew Shower. Heyman Narendra Shah. Pranav M. Shanoy. Thomas John Shields. Brandon Kinchung Shum. Kevin Scott Simon. Eric Stephen Slepp. Carter Allen Smith. Evangelina Spiliopulo. Vivek Srinivasan. Alexandri Stelea. Stephanie Wen Su. Bhavesh Suhagya. Andrew Tucker Swinney. Yasavi Tavavati. Melissa Grace Talent. Christopher Michael Tanzi. Pavleen Tukral. Julia Ruchong Ting. Johnny Jose Tirado. Georgie Takshalvi Lili. Monet Tiffany Tomioka. Dewey Taton. Preston D. Turner. John Anthony Veron. Nitin Viagara Varigia. Justin Akihiko Wan. Leonard Thomas Washington III. Nancy Marie Weeks. Jared Michael Wiggum. Derek Austin Williams. Stephen Dedalus Williams. Cora Tatum Wilson. Uraj Windless. Lovisa Huigita Winyoto. Wesley Yifeng Wong. Titus Wu. Jinshin Wu. Jateng Xie. Kevin Shu. Jialing Zhang. Walton Waiting Young. Tiffany Zhang.
Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Outreach, Michelle Reinhardt, will present the undergraduate candidates for the degrees in the College of Architecture.
Hi, candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in the College of Architecture, please rise and remain standing. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you those candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree who have completed the requirements for this degree and who will envision, design, and build the world around us for tomorrow.
Ivan Allen. No, you cannot.
We
Ivan
cannot.
Allen. It's Ivan Allen.
This is the Ivan Allen College of Liberal Arts.
We need to go back and they need to do Ivan Allen.
Ivan Allen?
Thank you.
Later. John?
Where's my script? I think it's here. No? You're right.
You just read engineering, so put Ivan Allen. It's not in there. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting the Ivan Allen.
All right, we've got it sorted. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you those candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in the Ivan Allen College of Liberal Arts, very technologically savvy liberal arts students.
From the Ivan Allen College of Liberal Arts, Bachelor of Science in Computational Media, interdisciplinary with College of Computing. Fadwa Abida. Derek Fremont Aldrich. Kristen Ann Carella. Casey Hajun Che. James Edwin Choate IV. Justin Eric Cook. Hillary Elise Degenkolb. Ryan Christopher Diaz. Zachary O'Neill Elliott. Daniel James Gonzalez. Emma Grace Hargrave. Nia Khan Hoon. Dhruv Narayan Karanakan. Yong Won Kim. Ryan Patrick Menz. Naomi Rachel Mitchell. Evan Xavier Moscoso. Emily Ann Mosier. Austin Harris Musselwhite. Audrey Victoria Nelson. John Ryan O'Donnell. Larry Michael Smith Jr. Anna Rose Stenstrom. Richard Glenn Valentine. Amanda Grace Wall. Angela Young.
Now we'll get it right. Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Outreach, Michelle Reinhardt, will present undergraduate candidates for degrees in the College of Architecture.
Candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in the College of Architecture, I promise this time, please rise and remain standing. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you those graduates for the Bachelor of Science degree who have completed the requirements for this degree.
From the College of Architecture, Bachelor of Science in Architecture, Jessie Adair Beardall. Lauren Ann Boudreau. Michelle Nicole Bunch. Daniela Lee Cardona. Christian Dior Coles. Megan A. Doring. Juliana Echeverri. Haley Christine Fordham. Alexandria Teresa Gillette. Roger David Jewell. Ishrat Jahan Lopa. Jacqueline Michelle Mancher. Margaret Catherine McDowell. Jiangpu Meng. Shu Meng. William Worth Moore. Chadni Nalan Patel. Ziwan Chu. Grace T. Reed. Abigail Lee Smith. Ross William Smith. Seju Shrivastava, Dorothy A. Steinbach, Song Trong Vu, Caroline Elizabeth Wyrick, Hyuk Jun Yoon. Bachelor of Science in Building Construction, Andrew Thomas Alvarez, Krishna K. Patel, Dimitar Ivanov Penkov, Ashley Clifton Stamper, Shelby Ann Van Hemmel. Bachelor of Science in Industrial Design, Sarah Carolyn Allen, Edith Marie Aponte, Ashlyn Elizabeth Ayers, Mallory Lynn Becker, Isaac James Chasteen, Elvin Ho Wing Chu, Brianna Michelle Dawson, Courtney Noel Gruber, Rachel Elizabeth Kurth, Sonia Rose McCall, Megan Megana Arundhati Melkote, Samantha Ann Morley, Peter Allen Quinn, Lindsay Nicole Schwartz, Sarah Catherine Summers, Caitlin Isabel Taylor, Dejan Castino Thibault, Ashley Jean Touchton, Jocelyn Esther Yao, Orezi Yeno Onyebuchi Zaidu Aki.
Dean Paul Goldbart will present the undergraduate candidates for the degrees in the College of Science.
Candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in the College of Sciences. Home to bold explorers creating new knowledge to help drive forward the technology, computing, and medicine of tomorrow, and also simply to lift the human spirit to new heights. Think finding flowing water on Mars. Think catching Einstein's waves of space and time. Scientists and mathematician explorers, please rise and remain standing. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you those candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree who have completed the requirements for this degree.
From the College of Science, Bachelor of Science in Discrete Mathematics, Riesling Margaret Meyer, Kyle Zachary Zimmerman, Bachelor of Science in Earth and Atmospheric Sciences, Jonna Michelle Floyd, Caitlin Maureen Gardner, Shitin Leo, Zishan Rashid, Bruno Rodriguez, Jennifer Christine Varian, Bachelor of Science in Biology, Michaela Alcala, Radhika Amin, Syria Bosch, Andrea Catherine Boyd, Shelby Lee Busby, Jacqueline Pamela Carroll, Andrea Ketkuti, Alexandra Alexa Dekbar, Wade Enos, Julia Catherine Frederick, Shelby Elizabeth Gannat, Langston Geddes, Sarah Gould, Paige Nicole Gudim, Haley Ray Huffschild, Demetria Marie Hubbard, Alexandra Phillips Human, Kaylee Nicole Isaacs, Samuel Tyler Jones, Yu Jin Jung, Sharada Krishnapen, Dahi Lee, Frederic Lefebvre, Madeline Frances Lionberger, Melissa Lee Liston, Mark Christian Lauder, Kevin Keon Mumudi, Catherine Grace Martin, Paul Thomas Mink Jr., Rachel Julia Myrau, Angela Moe, Jung Ki Mok, Charlotte Alexandra Myers, Olemi Oluwabe, Sagar Patel, Sasha Patel, Natalie Ray Payne, Iwana Pensia, Amal Panus, Camelia Roman, Mariam Saheb, Alyssa Marie Schlossberg, Zain Sharif, Dalton James Sherwood, Vanashe Bani Shawawi, Katarina San, Jonathan Stripen, Callie Rebecca Thompson, Yael Toporek, Allison Rose Welty, Lauren Lee Wolcott, Neha Zaire, Bachelor of Science in Psychology, Priya Banit, Jadale Banks Jr., Daryl Cowley, Caitlin Elizabeth England, Michael Seth Metzler, Hannah K. Perkins, David Reed, Teresa Ann Sorrento, Ann Elizabeth Swanson, Jamira Valencia, Irene Velasquez, Jerry Ann Wheeler, Kelly Ray Ziegler, Bachelor of Science in Applied Mathematics, James Swenson Burrell, Colin Michael Cunningham, Elizabeth Nicole Foucher, Stephen Eric Gillen, Amber May Harris, Adam Justin Lieberman, Jessica Ashley Shimko,
Dean Gary May will present the undergraduate candidates for the degrees in our largest college and the largest in the nation, College of Engineering.
Candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in the largest, most diverse, best engineering college in the universe, please stand. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you those candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree who complete the requirements for this degree.
From the College of Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Environmental Engineering, Hannah Kate Ackerman, Juan Cho, Zachary Clevenger, Chloe Grace Cooper, Brianna Lee Corcoran, Camila Andrew Darton, Sarah Ecker. Shannon Evanek. Allison Marie Finley. Ruben Keon Felix. Olivia Ginn. Margaret Elizabeth Gwynn. Julia Nicole Hulbert. Nathan Charles McDonald. Ryan James Murphy. Jonathan Edward Nathan. Rushi Navit Patel. Matthew Austin Simpson. One second. I need a break too. Yeonji Chiang Su. Zachary Willis Telyuhan. Leslie Karen Vincent. Alana Michelle Wilson. Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering, David Mark Asen. Koala Abdugator. Celine Abraham. Arnell Alezi. Elizabeth Allen. Nafiz Amin. Zina Amar. Suhas Abasakan. Christopher Andrew Arancibia. Jonathan Pradeep Austin. Alexander Joseph Autry. Kevin Bai. Andrew Ryan Barth. Crystal Dawn Bryant. Jeffrey Scott Bayul Jr. Kendall Elizabeth Burton. Joshua Lee Cavender. Anup Chandora. Dong Hee Chang. Peter Chang. Pranana Chilukuri. Kavita Chinoy. Dong Bo Choi. Jiyu Choi. Lauren Nicole Clark. Destiny August Cobb. James Avery Kopic. Catherine Christine Crawford. Hina Dani. Sarah Catherine Marie Danley. Emily Lynn Davis. Shu Yu Den. Megan Catherine DeSillitz. Luke Austin Dingus. Lauren Catherine Dongyatsi. Sage Hopkins Duddleston. Connor James Eaton. Catherine Allen Fiedler. Miguel Solomon Flores. Chris Morin Faldiuk. Jordan Ann Garth. Kareem Merv Goddard. Matthew David Goldstein. Erin Elizabeth Greenhaw. Emily and Barbara Grau. Sorry. Karisma Gupta. Casey Lane Haynes. Paige Elizabeth Holbrook. Alex Matthew Hubbard. Christine Clayton Huff. Kristen Kaylee Humphreys. Heather Ann Issen. Ampara Iyer. Samir Jain. Joy Janku. Kristen Elizabeth Jeffries. Maria Lee Johnson, also receiving a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. Shireen Kale. Sukita Kathu Karnanan. Venkakrish Kassetti. Kang San Kyum. Samantha Kiplinger. Joylyn Kim. Renee Kim. Suchin Kuthari. Hisu Lee. Jacob Lee. Jordan Lee. Kiwan Lee. Huan Chi Thomas Lin. Xingyu Lu. Vina Madhu. Kimberly Ann Martini. Catherine Elizabeth McAlexander. William Harrison McAllister. David William McKellar. Paige Madison McQuaid. Nicholas Francisco Metzler. Emma Claire Mehevic. Samir Mishra. Priya Mohindra. Miguel Montero. Michael Young Moon. Michael Andrew Morgan Jr. Matthew John Mosgrove. Neha Marupa. Bharatwaj Nagapal. Tatiana Netterfeld. Catherine Michelle Newberger. Thomas John Ng. Hong Yoon T1. Anthony Joseph Nicoretta. Van Alexander Panter. Liana Parchment. Aaron Patel. Nikhil Patel. Stephen Robert Fole. Joshua Aaron Porter. Nandihi Prakash. Sudarsan Prathakarnan. Alexandra Carolyn Price. Scott Owen Prombo. Aditya Raghunathan. Anna Ramrup. Gautam Rangvajla. I'm sorry. Gabriel Lynn Rawls. Chase Reinick. Abigail Grace Riddle. Shannon Elizabeth Rodriguez. Kathleen Rooney. Ashley Elizabeth Singan. Bahat Sanders. Kyle Andrew Schott. Cassandra Lee Schofield. Devinish Manish Shah. Jay Shah. Nikalesh Sharma. Chong In Shin. Jin Yun Shin. Shreya Sridhar. Srirada Srivastava. Arisa Sula. Manuela Shushnitha. Ferris Adil Taha. Alexander Riley Tatum. Nusha Tabakoli. Camille Tofik. Elizabeth Walker Thompson. Joseph James Thornton. Hunter Lee Tuck. Corey Timothy Turbyfeld. Chiduza Madu. Pahlavi. It's Pahlavi, sorry. Pahlavi Vidna. Now this one? Okay. John Jordan Varghese. Michelle Alexa Vasquez. Isabel Marie Vernon. Pratik Viswanthan. Charlene Walton. Yahan Wang. Alexander Burns Warner, also receiving a Bachelor of Science in Applied Languages and Intercultural Studies. Valencia Elise Watson. Benjamin Wibbenell. Varun Yabarla. Hee Young Yoon. Gina Patricia Yu. Tian Zhang. Xiaohong Yang Zhang. Amy Zhen. Jimmy Zhou. Bachelor of Science in Material Science and Engineering. Mary Catherine Adams, also receiving a Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering. Nicole Elizabeth Allison. Taylor Alexandra Armstead. Mara Elise Azuz. Christopher John Warner Batson. Alexander Lamar Beach. Blake Christian Cotney. Eric Danchu. Christina Claire Fisher. Stephen James Fullerton. Zev Jordan Greenberg. Jessica Long. Jiasin Huang. Peter Huddleston. Christine Marie Johnig. Keith Edward Johnson. Nicholas John Kane. Robert Michael Kiplinger. Jin Won Kim. Young Hun Kim. Emily Danielle Kudiki. Anna Elise Landerville. Chelsea Rose Lefland. Natalie Lindsay. Januzi Lynn. Taylor John McCrary. Emily Kathleen Mycan. Gregory James Nacy. Franco Allen Ortega. Gordon James Powell. Hayden Matthias Price. Nestor Rodriguez. Austin Howell Sanderson. Catherine Jane Yi Siegel. Yuyun Nina Sue. Brian Robert Swanson. Anna Marie Thomas. Sarah Elizabeth Termel. Justin Wang. Thomas Drake Wheatley. Yu Wu. Chi Yuan. Wenqi Zhang. Yep.
Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering, Radhika Agarwal. Muhammad Faizan Akhtar. James Alcock. Peter Alcock. Zachariah Colin Allen. Ali Al-Hussawi. Aziz Al-Shalwan. Jacob Kane Amsbaugh. Shing Kathy Ann. Thomas Philip Anderson. Kevin Lamar Arpin. Jasmine Diane Atkinson. Anurang Ball. Tilak Balavijayan. Christian Andres Barron. Idil Berry. Param Bodiwala. Alexander Thomas Bond. Daniel S. Brackey. Blair Michael Buffington. Allison Elizabeth Burton. Young Beyun. Susan Diane Carter. Cheyenne Sagiri Autumn Kazavan. Clarence Chang. Yuan Yu Xian. John Johan Cho. Sarash Chordia. Casey Alexander Culver. Edward Millard Culver III. Andre Marie Curran. David Austin Daly. Julie Dang. Anika Thamanraran. Emily Yue Dong. Chad Michael Edwards. Sarah Marie Urchel. Matthew George Faenza. Kevin Ryan Fallon. Matthew Zoltan Farkas. Yi Feng. Marco Farrow. Reed Andrew Gardner. Ashali Gaiba. Jason Tanner George. Rahul Gautam Ghosh. Jeffrey Follett Gilbert. Daniel E. Goldman. Nicole Gautret Murillo. Owen Stafford Greason. Hong Xiao Guan. Mariam Guhayes. Nolan McKinley Hackett. Pratika Halder. John Derek Hart. Rachel Catherine Hart. Charles Zijiao He. Leon Cavalcanti Heimer. Mary Elizabeth Kennedy Herndon. Brian Christopher Homans. Kevin Charles Hopkins. Catherine Ann Horton. Shi Im Sho. Yu Hu. Murtaza Hussain. Baradin Ahmed Ibrahim. Sarah Elizabeth Jackson, Michelle Ashley Jang, Julia Alexandra Jennings, Gregory Paul Jester, Yaodong Jia, Casey Mackenzie Joyce, Carlos Victor Shinobu Zuika Seto, Jean Young Kang, Marie Ann Kenvin, Kelsey Ann Killian, Jessica Sun Kim, Ji Young Kim, Jin Young Kim, Yik Young Kim, William Gunnar Knight, Neeland Joseph Kozsach, Joseph Patrick Knipe, Brian William Kraus, Catherine Arlana Cush, Catherine Dara Kuttner, Melissa K. Lay, Adam Lee, Carolyn Soyun Lee, Dong Hoon Lee, Wayne Wangyo Lee, Erin Rose Levy, Ron Lee, C.E. Lee, Anthony Wayne Lovins, Gloria Lucia Lozano, Jose Rafael Arenas Mailig, Catherine Grace Malloy, Amelia Marie McCormick, Aaron Matthew McHatton, Lucas Ray McIlhatton, Anand Samir Mehta, Gregory Stephen Miller, Rukmini Molapudi, John Kisung Na, James Edward Nagley Jr., Adelnan Ashraf Nathani, Dalton Robert Nekaneki, Katie Brooke Nelson, Hyo Lei Nguyen, Zheng Xuan Ni, Ricardo Nunez, Charles Canton Oliva, Kristen Elizabeth Oliveira, Gabriel Allen Polk, Chelsea Unbo Park, Hyun Young Park, Abigail Eon Parnell, Emily Rose Parrish, Aditya Nitin Kumar Patel, Chintan Nilesh Patel, Kaval Pranav Patel, Ronak Prakash Patel, Udidi Serena Paul, Sue Petapudi. Taylor Meredith Paulus. Nolan Michael Pridgeon. Eduardo Jose Prieto. Rebecca Margaret Raphael. Kedar Pranav Rao. Michael Lewis David Reed. Richard Brian Rembert. Jordan Alexander Roberts. Alexander Calvin Rohrer. Yana Russo. Wesley Ethan Rowe. Ashley Grace Roxburgh. Sebastian Salazar. Alexandria Langley Schmid. Matthew Jonathan Seegers. Tanya Shahani. Trevor Bradley Slack. Rohan Samasundaram. Sunny Song. Stephen Joseph Spiegel. Sydney Anna Sprague. Ashish Shrithar. Antung Sau. Brian Ansley Sweat. Allison Ann Taft. Nicholas Christian Telhardat. Prashant Dilip Taylor. Pranay Reddy. Juan Enriard Tanadidata. Kevin George Thomas. Peter Sabu Thomas. Cattell Emmeline Thiss. Laura Lee Krug. Daniel Eduardo Varela. Nathan Venugopal. Juan Carlos Vieira DeMarco. Indrajit Vishwanath. Nima Vojani. Christina Michelle Wangan. Ryan Christopher Ward. George Washington III. Elise Nicole Watson. Julia Kayleen Wayne. Rachel Marie Weber. Jacob Ryan Welty. Neil Bowen Whitman Jr. Michael David Warelli. Junjay Yachin. Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering, Yoon Han Yoon. Ryan Griffith Youngblood. Yu Zhang. Matthew Christopher Zirkus. Ziyu Zhang. Xian Zhang. Hayden Zhou. Jingyu Zhu. Shiran Zhu. Bachelor of Science in Aerospace Engineering, Cameron James Addleton. Robert Patrick Ainsworth. Jonathan Daniel Allen. Robert L. Anderson. Akshay Bakane. Paul Joseph Basalone. Darian Alon Blanchard. Justin Lewis Brotzman. Nathan Parnell Brown. J. Christian Buer. Ryan Wendell Burke. Sean Christian Burson. Barry Allen Butler Jr. Tian Chen Kai. Sebastian Cardona. Joshua Thomas Carnes. Matthew Dennis Chan. Raj Chukbayal. Chris Nicholas Christie III. Austin Winston Claybrook. Nolan Lee Coulter. Nicholas Evan Curran. Prodik Das. Kyle Anthony Davis. Tiffany Nicole Davis. Rowan Gajan Deshuanmeth. Andrew Thomas DeSalle. Nicole Leanne Dowling. Catherine Elizabeth Durden. Connor Christian Ellis. Jessica Elaine Fuller. Mark William Gelber. Jacob Wells Glasgow. Ivan Arpin Gomez. Jada Alexandria Green. Andrew J. Greenhill. Adam Daniel Greenstein. Stephen Robert Grislack. Thomas Shigeru Kimura Harrington. Andrew Ho. Aaron Songgan Holben. Victor Romick. Gassan Issa. Christopher Aaron Jenkins. Henderson Johnson II. Toby Niyi Kadri. Preston David Kargiri. Dongha Kang. Benjamin Jean Kowecki. Andrew Paul Kendall. Jin Hyuk Kim. Scott W. Kling. Vaibhav Kumar. Siddharth Lal. Braden Richmond Lapp. Patrick W. Lay, Tianyi Lee, Matthew Scott Leffler, Michael Jonathan Lucci, Jessica Alexandria Lynham, Blake Adam Richard McNair, David Thomas Maggs, Tanuj Mahesh Worthy, Walter Joseph Raber Malchody, Michael Aaron Marshall, Lloyd Peter Mazza, Brandon Patrick Meehan, Matthew Robert Mendenhall, Michael Torrey Mercutio, Tyler McKim Muter, John Alexander Miltner, Marcus Jones Mitchell, Matthew Adam Montavon, Cameron Kennedy Neal, Vu Tren Ngo, David Alexander Pierce, Charles Coatsworth Pinckney Jr., Michael Aaron Portman, Siddharth Prem, Joshua Kevin Price, Teresa Prieto Prieto, Swapnil Raghavendra Pujari, Venkat Pavan Pucha, Kyle Michael Randall, Brian David Ritchie, Jeremiah Reed Robertson, Haniel Roman, Cyan Roy, Luke Alexander Sand, Joseph Carl Sanchez, Clyde Russell Sanders Jr., Karen Singh Sandhu, Alec Thomas Sandmeyer, Cambro Aaron Simpson, Kyle Thurman Skidmore, Nathaniel Luke Skolnick, Kayla Brianne Snellgrove, Catherine Virginia Squire, Samuel Joseph Swanson, Adam Wayne Thomas, Colton Thomas, Yitan Wang, Michael Christopher Waters, Kayla Ann Watson, Adam Joseph Whalen, Nicholas Joseph Zambetti, Alexandra Patricia Z, Bikal Zhang, Xingyang Zhang, Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, Samir Sugam Agrawal, Harrison J. Aiken, Kehinde Adedado Paul Alonge, Samantha Elizabeth Becker, Sarah Taylor Beiser, Oliver Kevin Blackburn, Joseph Christian Boggs, John Edward Boland, Laura Ashley Boyle, Derek Franklin Bryant, Cole Weston Buchanan, Morgan Lee Cavender, Michael Chen Tejada, Alexander James Clark, Mark Scott Cohen, Diego Cruz Burbano, Silas Poe Davis, Trad Hayward Dennis, Joshua Charles Ekstedt, Brian Berkland Emmerich, Richard Ryan Evans, Kara Renee Evett, April Rosemary Gadsby, Jason Thomas Garretts, Shaki Imad Golmi, Daniela Michelle Glover, Amelia Christine Goydich, Jeremy Adams Greenwald, Javanity Latrice Heath, Anna Rose Hernandez, John Songin Hugh, James Reed Hunter, Jonathan Wayne Jackson, Emma Christina Jensen, Ryan Thomas Krusco, Jong-In Lee, David Allen Lelick, Benjamin Kyle Lemke, Julian Andres Libzaro Segura, Samay Nirmal Lohia, Christopher William Lundy, Benjamin Lewis Matthews, Ethan Oliver McAllister, Shirley G. Medina Paredes, Tamid Anaf Mohudan, Cullen Ray Mullinax, Matthew James Noggle, Jeremy Edward Nichols, Doyen Lydia Oladimeji, Toluwase Buluwafe Omotoshia, Sarah Grace Holligill, Harris Stephen Pankow, J. Young Park, Alyssa Marie Perkins, Brianna Hope Poteet, Cody Allen Rogers, Hatham Mushir Shatta, Elizabeth Payton Shaw, Natalia Stanley, Jarrett Andrew Stickler, Josiah Benson Tanis, Brian Matthew Tershawn, Sri Krishna Vardhan, Matthew Morris Williams, Zachary Tyler Wilson, Taylor Reed Withers, Richard Harold Wu Jr., Armand Yossaf, William Anthony Zirkus, Killian Wayne, Dion Pache McKenzie, Shadi Ashtarolnakai, Yeon Zhu, Raghav Kaul, Sofia Yevgenievna Kurzgarenko, Thu Train, Alicia Zhang Sam,
Will all of the graduates please rise? Upon the recommendation of the faculty of the Georgia Institute of Technology and by the authority vested in me by the University of Georgia System Board of Regents, I confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities hereunto appertaining. Graduates, to symbolize your achievement, you may now move the tassel on your mortarboard. Please join me in congratulating our newest graduates. Please be seated. At this time, I'd like to introduce Captain Gregory Wynn, Army ROTC, to recognize those graduates who are commissioned to serve in the U.S. Armed Forces. Captain?
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today I have the privilege of honoring a special group of students in the graduating class of 2016. Will the graduates of the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps ROTC programs please stand and be recognized? You may be seated. Mr. President, in addition to their academic degrees, these students completed a rigorous program focusing on physical conditioning, academics, and leadership to become officers in the United States Armed Forces. For their outstanding accomplishments and patriotism, please show your appreciation and congratulate these graduates. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Wynn. You know, Georgia Tech alumni are an extraordinary group of high achievers. To welcome the members of this year's graduating class into the Fellowship of Tech, I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Ben Mathis, Jr., class of 1981 and chair of the Georgia Tech Alumni Association.
Good morning. Though it seems like yesterday, 35 years ago, I sat where you sit today. If it makes you feel better, we were on the quarter system then. It was an early June morning. There was no air conditioning in this building. It was about 90 degrees. For those of you sitting in the bleachers, they were wood, no seating. I remember the ceremony was even longer because we only had one, and my only real memory of that ceremony is thinking, Lord, will this never end? But most troubling for me is I have absolutely no recollection whatsoever of the Alumni Association president making his remarks. It's not that I don't remember what he said, I don't even remember that he was here. So I recognize the task of the challenge I've been given, and I will be brief. First, congratulations. It is a very special day. You've worked hard, you've toughed out some very tough times. I know there were low moments. Some of you probably thought about giving up on higher education and transferring to the University of Georgia. Yes, low points indeed. But you made it. Welcome to a very special group, the alumni of Georgia Tech. For the rest of your lives, whenever the talk comes around about where did you go to college, you won't go over in the corner, you won't hem or haw, like our friends in Athens. You will say with great pride, I am a graduate of Georgia Tech. And no matter where you go in the world, they'll know you graduated from a great institution. They will assume immediately you're pretty darn smart. They will assume you know how to work very hard, and they believe that you will bring the education needed to do the job that you've been hired to do, or in many instances, in a few years, the job your company that you built has been hired to do. As Andy Young, Atlanta's former mayor and United Nations ambassador, was fond of saying, there are three things everybody knows about Atlanta: our airport, Coca-Cola, and Georgia Tech. An important part of our extraordinary legacy is the amazing loyalty of our alumni. It's been my privilege this year to speak a lot, and I always say we have the most loyal alumni in America, and I believe it. They hire our graduates, they advocate for Tech, they give to the Roll Call, our annual giving campaign. And you thought you were going to get out of here without a pitch for money. Well, as Lee Corso says on ESPN, not so fast, my friend. Actually, you'll be happy to know there is no pitch for money. You have been credited with a $25 gift in each of your names for this year. All we ask is that you follow up and continue to give back next year. For decades, Roll Call has made the difference on this campus. As many of you know, we have one of the higher participation rates in the country in terms of giving loyalty. The tangible evidence is everywhere, from the CRC and Tech Square to the scholarships that many of you here today have benefited from. So once you leave today, if you happen to be one of those people who makes $1 billion, trust me, we'll find you. But for the rest of us, I ask that you just simply support Roll Call, give back what you can each year. It's all our efforts that make the difference. And I'll close with one other suggestion to my new fellow alumni. You've heard it a little bit today, but on a personal level, thank those who are here to support you. Many of them have made incredible sacrifices that only years later will you fully appreciate. Give them a hug, tell them you love them, and that you appreciate them. In addition, there's some people who are not here, and reach out to them. Don't text them or Instagram them or whatever, call them. Go see them. It may be some of your family, a teacher, a coach, somebody from your church or your temple, a neighbor, somebody who made the difference for you. And when you run into your new fellow alumni, thank them for all they've done to build this great institution and give you a great school to graduate from. Tell them how much it means for what you've accomplished. You're a graduate of one of the great institutions in this world of higher education and research. You are a graduate of Georgia Tech. And for the rest of your life, no matter what your major, even those who rode the M train like me during my time, you will be known and respected forever as a hell of an engineer. Congratulations, go Jackets.
Thank you, Ben. In closing, I'd like to express my appreciation to Ann Gerondelis, Sarah Abel Silba, and Joe Hughes for announcing the graduates' names. At this time, members of the Sympathetic Vibrations will lead us in the alma mater, followed immediately by the faculty recessional. The graduates in the audience are requested to remain standing as the platform party recesses. Then I invite you to join all of us in the singing of the nation's best-known fight song, Rambling Wreck from Georgia Tech. For our newest Georgia Tech graduates, we have a special treat. As you exit the McCamish Pavilion, immediately after the ceremony, the whistle will blow several times in your honor. Thank you all for attending today, and congratulations to our newest graduates.
America, rise, behold the banner as it reigns supreme. For from on high the white and gold waves in its triumphant gleam. The spirit of the cheering throng resounds with joy, revealing a brotherhood in praise and song in memory of the days gone by. O Scion of the Southland, in our hearts you shall forever fly.